Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the 1996 Project. Shorter episode this week, but man, we got one to cover that's just so much fun, and I can't wait to talk about it. But first, we have to talk about, well, beautiful girls, aka we have to have our veggies before we have our dessert. Beautiful Girls was directed by Ted Demme, who would later go on to direct movies like Blow, starring Johnny Depp, and it starred, quite frankly, a lot of people. I'm just gonna read off the list just to show how big this is. Timothy Hutton, Matt Dillon, Noah Emmerich, Uma Thurman, Mira Sorvino, Michael Rappaport, Rosie O'Donnell, and it just goes on from there. It tells the story of a man named Willie, played by Timothy Hutton, who returns to his very small town in Massachusetts. It's one of those towns where you grow up there and you either leave for bigger things or you never leave and you just spend your entire life there, never really leaving, like barely leaving state. But Willie returns and reunites with his old friends, and they all get up to shenanigans together. I looked at this cast alone and I'm like, surely, at least this cast alone is going to be good. Like, that's going to make the movie worth it, right? Sadly, no. And let me preface by saying the movie's actually not bad. It's enjoyable in bursts, but it's not as good as you would think it would be, especially for people like this. Timothy Hutton, though, is the best part of the movie. I thought that his character was the most interesting, and I thought that his overall character was the one that I wanted to get behind the most, minus one thing, but I'll touch on that in a second. Noah Emmerich, Michael Rappaport, Matt Dillon, they're all good. They all do good performances here. In bursts, you can tell that these people were friends and they do get along with each other. It's not as close as you would want it to be, but it is there. You would just have to look for it. Rosie O'Donnell is here, and honestly, she has a movie moment that just made me laugh here, where she goes on an all-timer rant on Playboy magazine, where she just goes like, the women in those magazines are fake, they're drawn to look fake, they're touched up in post, and I'm just sitting here like, Playboy is fake? You don't say, Rosie. But it was just funny to hear her just rant about that. I got a kick out of it. What do you want? But you also have a very young Natalie Portman in this. And I'm not 100% sure this is her first role. I think that was The Professional. But she's here, and she gets a weird storyline with Timothy Hutton. This is the one thing that I was talking about. I thought for a hot second that the movie was going to imply that Willie, who's a grown man, and Natalie Portman's character, who plays this little girl, like teenage girl, were gonna get together. And thankfully, they don't do that. They do not do that. If they did that, it would be instant horrid, throw it in the bin. But all I have to say is that the fact that this was teased at all was genuinely like, what were you thinking? And then I looked at the producers. I'm like, oh yeah, this is something the Weinsteins would probably do. But anyway, this movie's pretty forgettable. It's got its moments. Near the end, there's a fight, and I thought that was interesting. But overall, this movie's just sadly nothing. Nothing to this as soon as it was over. But now we get to the main event, the movie that I have been looking forward to talking about since I finished watching this. It's Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow was directed by John Woo, director of many, many Hong Kong action classics, as well as Face Off, his magnum opus. And it starred John Travolta, Christian Slater, Kurtwood Smith, and Bob Gunton, among others. It tells the story of an Air Force pilot who goes rogue, played by John Travolta. He has been bought off and been assigned to steal a couple of nuclear weapons to sell back to the United States for a very hefty sum. What he didn't focus on was the fact that his co-pilot, played by Christian Slater, was going to survive the crash and come back with a vengeance. And Let me be clear, this movie was just fantastic. It gave me the biggest grin on my face the whole time. It's cheesy mid-90s fun. If you love movies like this, then this is the movie for you. I will say though, from what I have seen from John Woo, this is probably one of the more restrained movies he's ever done. There are no doves in this at all. And I mean, the movie does take place in the southwestern US, so pretty hard to find doves out there, I imagine. But just in general, this almost him feels like him holding back slightly, despite the many explosions. And there are many, and they're great. But Christian Slater is good. It's a bit jarring to see him go from the romantic lead in Bed of Roses to this. But he's good and he does deliver. He has good chemistry with Samantha Mathis, who plays this park ranger who helps him out. But the star of the show by a lot is John Travolta playing Deakins. I loved this guy. He was so much fun to watch. Travolta gave this role all the socks in the world and just he made it his own, and I just loved every second he was on screen. He was over the top, but you never questioned that yes, he was the villain of the story, and you could just tell from his demeanor that he had just was in control. And he was crazy, but he was crazy like a fox. And I just loved seeing that. Killing Bob Gunton's character, who Bob Gunton plays a miserly, penny pinching old crab, as he was born to play. Kurtwood Smith playing a rare heroic role as this NSA officer. Didn't see that one coming. Vondi Curtis Hall is in this. Like Delroy Lindo is in this. There's a pretty deep bench here. And just the movie's just fun. It's got enough story to keep you invested, but then it covers one day, and this whole operation exists in one day. There's an efficiency to it that I really did appreciate. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give this an amazing grade. I got a kick out of this one. I really did. I love this one quite a bit. I'll argue that it's not one of the best movies of 1996. It's probably not even the best John Woo movie. However, I loved this one so much, and it gave me just a warm feeling in my heart just throughout the whole thing. If somehow you've never seen it, see it. It's really good. But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of Beautiful Girls or Broken Arrow? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read what you have to say. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.